Italian capital is abuzz, and they have every reason to be. Dybala's pulled it back, and Abraham kicks the door down.
So the headline act to this moment in time, Napoli, and it appears there is just no stopping Luciano Spalletti's men. It's a debut goal for the Georgian, and the travelling Neapolitans acclaim their new hero.
Then it was balled back post. Smalling is a lifeline for the Giallorossi.
Osimhen on the move and scoring the goal. Victor Osimhen is back all right.
AS Roma di Napoli from the Stadio Olimpico.
Well, 14 teams have tried to stop Napoli so far this season. None have been successful, but if Roma can get the job done today, it'll put them just within 1 point of the league leaders. How do you see this game unfolding, Marco? What are you expecting today?
I'm expecting a very tight game. Roma that's going to try to make it scrappy, try to make it dirty. I love putting Mourinho in a corner because I think that's when he bites the best. So that's always fun for me. My one fear is how Roma are able to score goals against this Napoli side. 60% of their goals have come from Smalling and Dybala. Dybala's injured. The other one is a center back. And Napoli, they'll go guns blazing. So you need to be able to score tonight.
Prediction?
I'll say 1-1. I don't know.
Sitting on that fence.
Sitting on the fence.
Fence looks nice to you.
I didn't have to show up today. I'm going to say 1-1 also. We could have one of us could have showed up today.
Which one?
I'm glad both of you showed up after you were in the gym this morning together. I was wondering if you were going to come, but I'm glad that they did. Now you're on the fence together. Aaron, are you agreeing?
Very, very narrow Napoli win, 2-1. I think both sides score with 2-1.
Okay.
How about you, Pop?
I'm going to go for a Napoli 2-0 win. Yeah.
Is that why you have your Napoli jersey?
Out the bingo card, fella. Let's get you over to Dre and Matteo for the game, shall we? And we'll see you back here at halftime. Enjoy.
Oh, Napoli have talent, they have depth, they have intra-squad competition, and after Atalanta's first league loss of the season earlier today, they have the opportunity to climb 3 points clear into sole possession of first place. They also have a serious challenge in front of them. Jose Mourinho's Roma in strong form and on perfect points in October. 3 straight victories over Inter, Lecce and Sampdoria, and could win 4 straight for the first time under Mourinho. Napoli seem to roll out more kits than anyone else in Serie A year after year. This their 3rd kit today, as they are in black, taking on the Giallorossi, and 2 of the most respected managers in the game. Hug pregame. Just listen to the Stadio Olimpico. A real love affair between this city and this club, and when Roma are good, there is no place like it. hair-raising from the home fans, Matteo.
Incredible atmosphere. It's one of the best pre-match that you'll see anywhere in European football. And I've been excited for this one all weekend long. There's so much at stake. Napoli looking to extend their lead at the top of Serie A with this scintillating football. Maybe no team is playing better football this season than Napoli, and that's in Champions League, in Serie A. But Mourinho's Roma find a way. It doesn't matter if they have to be more defensive, if it has to be a 1-0 victory. This is going to be breathtaking entertainment.
Oh, the derby that is so lit, the derby of the sun, a clash between the two most popular clubs outside of northern Italy, and both basking in the bright lights of their excellent form. Napoli putting a 10-match win streak in all competitions on the line. A win today would match a club record set 36 years ago. As they get a first glance at goal from point blank. Kvara just couldn't get there in time. Chucky Lozano's square ball back, providing the first flash of danger.
And Lozano, he's naturally right-footed, so he stays normally to the outside. He's always looking to square that ball in instead of cutting inside.
It's chipped in again by Di Lorenzo this time, and awkwardly, Smalling breaks it up. First corner kick of the match, and Napoli starting with their foot on Roma's neck.
Oh, a few palpitations here, and then Smalling gets his angles wrong. Nearly a no-goal, and you can see Smalling's reaction there, breathing a sigh of relief.
3 changes to Spalletti's 11 from the side that beat Bologna last week. The ball is curled into the edge of this 6. Abraham gets rid of it. Matias Oliveira makes his second Serie A start. He replaces Mario Rui. Chucky Lozano taking over from Politano, and Victor Osimhen back in the starting lineup, and he was the intended target there. Scored in back-to-back games off the bench in Champions League and Serie A for Spalletti's men. 2-time Serie A Coach of the Year, Luciano Spalletti, building something special in the south of Italy. And a nervous start for Mourinho's Roma. Mourinho hoping to win a 4th straight match for the first time in Serie A since his return. Paulo Fonseca's Roma, the last to do so back in 2020. There's 3 changes for Mourinho as well, with Rick Karsdorp, Leonardo Spinazzola, and Nicolo Zaniolo all coming into the starting lineup at the expense of Zalewski, El Shaarawy, and Belotti. Here's Mancini. How do they cope with the absence of Paulo Dybala, Matteo, who only just arrived in the summer transfer window after something of a soap opera involving the likes of Juventus and Inter pulling out at the final moment, seemingly? He has been instrumental for them. He's absent again. Yeah, absolutely. Well, they need Zaniolo to start scoring. 0 goals in Serie A this season, 0 assists. And Tammy Abraham to hit the form that he showed last season. He started off this season a bit sluggish. Last touch by Karsdorp, who has not been included in the preliminary list for the Dutch national team. He is very unlikely to play a part in the upcoming World Cup. Watch the left side of Roma's attack, though. Spinazzola, who's so good at driving forward, combining with Pellegrini, who sometimes plays as a central midfielder, but oftentimes he's one of those 2 attacking midfielders sitting just behind Tammy. Minje. Spalletti opting to keep Jean Jesus in that backline. There were some suggestions that Ostergaard could get Benata alongside Minje. Does mean that the Korean international plays on the right of the center-back tandem, as opposed to his usual spot on the left. Lorenzo threaded nicely forward for Victor Osimhen. A real battle there against Smalling, and pounced on by Lozano, who's kept it in play, and more than that, he's shrugged off the initial challenge from Pellegrini. It'll be a Roma throw. Oh, it's been a very offensive-looking Napoli side. Look at the way that they're high-pressing as a team. That backline is very high up the pitch. And it was Smalling there who did so well with the standing tackle, just to poke it right in between the legs of Victor Osimhen. Sent away by Pellegrini for Karsdorp to chase.
He's going to get to it.
Get there. 3 Roma players streaking into the box. Pellegrini among them. Strong Jesus. Shot from distance by Kamara. Second straight start for Mady Kamara. He's played just 88 minutes this season. And one of the new signings on loan from Olympiacos. He had his full debut on Monday in the win against Sampdoria. Played 67 of his 88 minutes in that match and repeats in the 11.
One of the big questions for Jose Mourinho against this Napoli side is how high up the pitch do you play, or do you simply hit out on the counter? Victor Osimhen is such a dangerous player against an opposition's high line. One of the best at getting him behind. He's lightning quick. You know Napoli is going to try to take some risks at the back. That's why you have a player like Zaniolo, who is quite fast himself.
Zaniolo against Lobotka here. Cutting inside rather easily, goes for goal himself. That would have been spectacular. He's not scored in Serie A this season. 15-game goal drought.
He needs one more than anyone else on Roma's team. Tammy Abraham asking why he didn't play that one in. He was making that near post run, and that actually would have been a pretty good option for Zaniolo.
Last time he scored a league goal at home at this stadium was against Napoli. It was all the way back in November of 2019. This is one back by Ibanez, but given straight away. Knocked down by Osimhen, but beyond Lozano's reach. Seemingly everyone has stepped their game up for Napoli this season, and that includes Irving Lozano, who's really enjoying some of his best football since joining the Southern club.
Oh, he's actually playing. Wasn't really in the starting lineup consistently last season.
Abraham. Zaniolo, plenty of touches early on. Just tangled up with João Jesus. And referee lets them play. Zielinski driving straight at the heart of Roma, and he's just dispossessed. Cristante. Spinazzola. And Ndombele once again filling in for Zambo Anguissa, who continues his recovery. Wijnaldum, Zeki Celik, Paulo Dybala missing for the home side. Rahmani, Anguissa, and backup keeper Salvatore Sirigu absent for Napoli.
Ndombele, one of those players that caught the eye of all the top teams his last season at Lyon, in Ligue 1 in particular. But at Spurs, there was questions about his overall fitness, his willingness to really run for the team.
Stark contrast in the style of the build-up of these two teams, a deliberate build-up of Napoli, the long approach of Roma, and a little concern here for Matias Oliveira. Just coming together with Zaniolo. Oliveira, the Uruguay international, who joined from Getafe this summer. He's competing with Mario Rui for that left-back spot. Only his second start in Serie A.
Yeah, and I think part of that reason is because Mario Rui has improved so much under Luciano Spalletti. You can't remove him from the starting lineup now.
Kamara's picked the pocket of Ndombele, and he picks out Tammy Abraham. He's trying to drag it in for Pellegrini, arriving in the box, and was too far away from the captain.
Great interception, though, from Kamara in the midfield. Leads to a short field. He's got two options on either side. Mady. And he picks out Tammy. And from this position, Abraham seems like he was stuck in between two lines. I thought he was looking to play for Pellegrini. He was making a really interesting diagonal run across the box. It's like he was stuck in between two lines, whether to shoot or to pass it to his teammate.
The way they connect their passes, Napoli, it's hypnotizing at times. Oliveira. Cristante. Took a road to find Abraham, who's marked very closely by Kim Min-jae. Incredible to think that 2 Player of the Month honors have been given out so far this season, and both are to newcomers that are starting for Napoli. Kvara the first month and Min-jae the second. Usually takes players a full season to acclimate to a new league when they're stepping up a level. Seaman is tripped up by Kamara. Injured his hamstring back in early September in that Champions League win over Liverpool. In his absence, the combination of Raspadori and Cholito Simeone filled in admirably. Seaman motivated on his return. He scored in back-to-back games against Ajax in the Champions League and against Bologna last week. Made it so that Spalletti just could not keep him out. Karsdorp under pressure from Kvara. The Giallorossi faithful make their voices heard, as they will throughout this contest. Biggest game of the season to date for Roma, and a real test of their form the last couple of games. The 3 straight wins, the last 2 against clubs in the bottom half. It's a little bit casual from Ibanez. Lozano not able to win it back. Foul is whistled against Juan Jesus.
Really high tempo to this game so far. Nice press off the ball. Especially from Napoli.
Thiago Pinto, sporting director of Roma. It's a special match for Juan Jesus as well. He's going up against his former club. He's joined on a free transfer from Roma in 2021, and had some parting shots once he did leave. He was frozen out the last couple of seasons in Roma. Made only 9 appearances and 1 start in 2 campaigns before leaving. Spinazzola. Lozano with a good defensive effort. Juan Jesus said that Roma was lying about his injuries in order to keep him out. Karsdorp, part wingback, part cheerleader.
What a great pass that was pinged across the Stadio Olimpico field by Brian Cristante. You said it before, Roma trying to be a lot more vertical. Every time the midfielders are getting on the ball, they're consistently looking for that ball over the top, trying to see where the wide men are. Zaniolo on one side, Spinazzola on the other. The players who you expect to make those runs in behind this Napoli high line and really test that defense.
Smalling. Zielinski applying the pressure. It's Rui Patricio raffles it into the middle. It's Menje who wins it. Last touch by Abraham. To the legs of Kamara as Ndombele collects from Di Lorenzo.
Ole.
Clever switch.
Trivela.
Oliveira. Karsdorp trying to respond in kind. It didn't come off. There's Pellegrini. Look at the positioning of Napoli. It's not the most aggressive pressure, but they are making it so that Roma have to play long.
Yeah, this is the
Or have
problem,
to be razor sharp with their passes.
Those players for Napoli are in between the Roma defense and the midfield, so it's forcing that long ball over the top. Look how difficult it is right now for Smalling to play a short pass. Cristante has 2 Napoli players separating him from the defense. Cristante is normally the one who receives it from the defense, and he's the one who then orchestrates and plays that next pass. Again, so
flung away by Cristante.
And this is playing into Napoli's hands. This is exactly what Spalletti's trying to force out of Roma. Keep them off the ball, quick giveaway, and then Napoli can play a more measured approach and just playing out from the back with these short passes on the ground.
Of course, Spalletti won a couple of trophies with the Giallorossi, won a pair of Coppa Italias. 2007, 2008, back-to-back years, while taking on his former team. Stretch of time when under Spalletti and under Rudy Garcia, Roma were the closest thing challenging. Really, Roma and Napoli were alternating between who would be the #1 contender to snatch Juventus's crown, while Juve won 9 in a row. Juan Jesus wins it in the air. Ibanez. That's a foul committed by Osimhen. Overly aggressive, and Ibanez took the worst of it. Quarter hour gone, and that's going to sting for a second. Point of the toe, they're catching the ankle. Again, Roma tried to build from the back. Karsdorp. And this time they do get forward. It's Zaniolo streaking into the area. The pullback is on. And he's smothered by Juan Jesus and covered nicely by Minje.
Yeah, the two Napoli defenders, they are converging very quickly on Zaniolo, who had a few yards of space right here, but then it seems like the ball, right as he's trying to release it, maybe gets stuck under his feet. Thought he had a few steps earlier, the chance to just try to drive that ball powerfully across goal. But maybe going the unselfish route and trying to pick out his strike partner, Abraham.
First corner for Roma. On swing right to the near post, Osimhen. And he's to head it away. It's Spinazzola in possession, working against Lozano.
At one point last season, Roma, the best team in the top 5 European leagues at scoring goals from the set piece.
Once more lifted into the area. These are actually the two sides with the most set-piece goals since the start of last season. Napoli first and Roma second.
Yeah, Roma have two things going for them. The delivery of Pellegrini or Dybala, and then all the height. Some incredible aerial presences, especially the defender, Chris Smalling.
Ibanez. And the man marking of Napoli causing some trouble for Roma to play out of the back. Zielinski. Kvaratskhelia.
Ole.
It's electrifying. The Georgian newcomer. And Zielinski gets that to ricochet. Last touch by Rick Karsdorp.
Yeah, he's even more than electrifying. Said it on the pre-show. At first, what you notice is the intoxicating dribbling, but then you see he's got two-footed nature. He's creative. His passing is continually improved. In the last round, his passing was unbelievable. He could have had 3 assists. Just a complete footballer, really brimming on world-class ability. And to do that coming over from the Georgian League, Andres, is just otherworldly. To raise your game from Dinamo Batumi to the Champions League. Nothing about it makes any sense, but
how much have you scouted the Georgian League, Matteo?
Didn't you know?
There's Di Lorenzo.
One of my favorite pastimes. I've got no life. Big Dinamo Batumi fan.
It's taken away by Ibanez. Chiqui Lozano's been busy on this near side. Mexican international. 98th appearance in Serie A for Lozano. Approaching the century mark. This is Ndombele. He was tripped up from behind by Kamara. He's been very active. Giallorossi midfielder.
Andres, did you just admit on national television you did not watch Dinamo Batumi against Tbilisi?
Yeah, no, I not once.
You don't know what
I'm sure
missing.
I missed out, given what we've seen from Kvaratskhelia.
Exactly. Well, Napoli scouts were watching, and they got maybe the steal of the summer.
Still early in the Serie A campaign, but today, Kvaratskhelia is the MVP of the league. 13 goal contributions in his 14 games across all competitions. He's assisted in 4 straight games for Napoli. And it's delightful the way in which he continues to dribble at and past players in Serie A and the Champions League. Lorenzo. Zielinski. He expected the run to be made by Lozano. It wasn't.
Yeah, so often Zielinski plays on memory, eyes on the back of his head. He has an idea of where his players should be going. And there he expected the Mexican international to make that run in behind instead of asking for it short.
Into a little trouble, Mancini, but he does get it away. And again, the long ball met by Tammy Abraham. Over the top for Zaniolo. Juan Jesus in a foot race. Zaniolo's won it. And last touch by the Brazilian.
No, it's
Roma very much aware that they can use this crowd in their favor.
Zaniolo's an issue when you're playing that long ball over the top. He's so quick, and he's gotten so much stronger since his injuries, where he really made an effort to bulk up. And he just bullies his way past Juan Jesus.
Pellegrini, outswinger to the edge of the 6. It's met by Smalling. Ibanez trying to get there, and it's Ibanez who's whistled for the foul. Ndombele on the receiving end of it. Anti-euphoric and always intense. Luciano Spalletti. Osimhen was clipped by Smalling, and that will produce the game's first yellow card. The third of the season for Chris Smalling.
Defenders will press Osimhen so tightly when he's trying to play with his back to goal. The last thing they want is him to control the ball smoothly and then turn and run into space where he's at his most dangerous. Gets fouled a lot, Victor Osimhen. And unfortunately for him, he's also not been able to stay healthy. He's had some freak injuries as well. And the reason why he's wearing that mask, if you remember last year, that horrible facial collision against Inter where broke his orbital bones. The surgeon that was working on him said he could not believe that that was a football-related injury just because of the severity, the amount of broken bones in and around his eyes.
Di Lorenzo catapulted into the area. Smalling there to deny the entry pass to Osimhen. Lozano, the collision with Spinazzola, and it's gone against Chucky Lozano.
Remember, that foul was quite grotesque as well to see it. His whole cheekbone, it's sunken in, and it's just bad luck that Osimhen's face, because that's 2 seasons in a row where he's missed a considerable amount of time through injuries.
Some players can't wait to take off the mask when they recover. Others just grow used to it and superstitious. Ndombele is strong in the challenge with Kamara. Headed away by Cristante. Zaniolo laying it off for Pellegrini. Abraham wide against Oliveira. Tammy Abraham didn't really have the support around him to find an outlet for the pressure. Possession split 50-50 in his first 23-odd minutes. Right idea from Pellegrini, but a difficult one for even the speedy Spinazzola. Does he look different to you from his return from injury, the long layoff when he was really at arguably the best form of his career during Italy's Euro 2020 triumph? He didn't finish that tournament.
Well, the most worrying thing after a serious Achilles rupture like what Spinazzola had in the Euros is you worry about a player who's so reliant on that explosive pace. He's still got the quickness, which is the most important thing.
Whistle's raining down. It's a Napoli player that requires some attention.
Seemed like
here's why.
Yeah, it took the shoulder of Ibanez right in the eye from Lozano. And just going back on that Spinazzola point, there was an interesting article in the Italian media about how once upon a time an Achilles injury like that pretty much was a death sentence for an athlete, but now with the improved quality and medical treatment and the way that they're able to operate on these players much more efficiently, back after a year or less.
Play resumes via drop ball. It's Smalling to get us back on their way. Mancini. Pressure applied now by Kvaratskhelia. NJ challenging Tammy Abraham. Ibanez. Lozano's got that hungry look about him, as if he's looking for a fight. Just over the head of Abraham. It's knocked down by Di Lorenzo. And Juan Jesus rolling it back for a minute.
How many times has Zaniolo ran half the field full sprint? Might be gassing himself out early.
Oliveira.
I mean, he is
just... Good challenge by Zaniolo, not allowing Kvara to get him.
Just look back at the last 30 seconds. 30 seconds non-stop of sprinting from Zaniolo. He ran all the way to the opposition's box, and then he tracked back and won it. That's a kind of work rate that Mourinho will certainly appreciate. First line of defense. If you're not scoring goals, it's one way to contribute.
Came in off the bench on Monday night. That 1-0 victory, played the final 20-odd minutes. Zaniolo, and rewarded for it with a start today. Osimhen with his back to goal. Lozano is dispossessed, but it falls for Zielinski. Essential, despite the power, easy for Rui Patricio.
So dangerous, Zielinski, from this kind of position. And he can strike it right or left foot, doesn't matter. He's so accurate and powerful with both. It's really improved ever since the departure of Fabian Ruiz. You hardly feel his absence since he's gone to PSG. He's not even starting every game, is he, over there, Fabian? Zielinski, Zambo, they've really stepped it up. Lobotka as
over
well.
300 games now for Peter Zielinski. 11 seasons in Serie A, 7 of those with Napoli. Kvara against Mancini. The aforementioned Zielinski. Lobotka, the metronome to this Napoli team.
Such great awareness from Lobotka with his first touch. He always knows where he's going. There's never a first touch to control it and think about where he's going next. He always feels the pressure, and first touch is always to create a bit of separation. Such a smart player. It's great to see him finally getting that consistent time and show that form that he had at Celta in Spain.
Oliveira finding space in the middle, trying to lay it off with Osimhen. Recovered by Di Lorenzo. Lozano. It's tracked by Spinazzola, did well to find Di Lorenzo. Attempted cross, took a deflection. It will stay Napoli's ball. It's an Iron Man, Giovanni Di Lorenzo. 150th match now in Serie A. All starts. Kvara settled nicely for Zielinski. Perhaps in each other's way. Finding each other well. Kvara tripped up from behind. Contact, but not enough for a foul in the view of Massimiliano Irrati.
Seemed like he definitely got caught. Surprised no foul was given. Kim.
Abraham shielding the ball well, and Minje's whistled for the foul.
Kim is a nightmare to play against if you're a striker. He's so aggressive. I'm curious to see that play on Kvara once more.
Did seem to get clipped, and again, the referee right on top of the action.
And things getting out of hand now. Kvara got up. He got in a pushing match. The contact doesn't look as clear on that replay. Mancini, who's always got a word to say, he's someone who really lets the temper get the best of him sometimes.
Another player reaching a milestone today, 150th Serie A appearance for Gianluca Mancini. Zaniolo finds Karsdorp. Pellegrini's down. Zaniolo continues his run, working against Oliveira. Jean Jesus had it covered twice. Kept in by Kvara. Magic to get past Karsdorp. And now running at Cristante. Oh, fair play as though allow for Pellegrini to get some treatment. But he is so much fun to watch.
Boy, it can beat you in so many ways. Oftentimes it's not the flashy dribbles, it's not the step overs, it's chops to either side. It's quick, it's effective, none of the fluff, all substance.
Shown himself to be a considerate passer as well.
Yeah, that's what's really stood out is the creativity and awareness when he's in possession of where his teammates are going. Not a one-trick pony, he's got many tricks up his sleeve.
So again, some concern for Roma's captain as the full spray comes out. Smalling picked up a yellow card in the 22nd minute, remains the only player booked so far. 30 minutes played at the Stadio Olimpico. 30 minutes of intensity. Albeit few chances. Napoli have had one shot, it was on target. Roma have had 4. They've been off target.
That's the one that Smalling nearly sent to the back of his own net, and Smalling's reaction said everything. It's been so intense so far in this first half, as you'd expect.
"32-year-old Chris Smalling, who's now in his 4th season in the Italian capital. His career high in goals was 4 with Manchester United. He did that twice, 2014, 2015, and 2017, 2018. He's already scored 3. We're only on match day 11. He's 1 away from matching his career high and almost certain to pass it. Meanwhile, you saw Dybala is already missing in action for the Giallorossi. They may be without Pellegrini now as well, and they can ill afford to lose him. Looks as though he will try to continue. Lobotka. Oliveira. It's a different approach to that left back position for Mario Rui, who often becomes an additional central midfielder. Oliveira more defensive minded. This ball clipped over the top, and Kamara just covers so much ground. A 25-year-old.
Yeah, I like the way he's read the game defensively. Key interception. Working hard off the ball, as is the entire Roma squad for Mourinho. But so far they're absorbing pressure, and a few times they've looked dangerous on the counter through that right side and Zaniolo.
Kim Min-jae. Jean Jesus. Oliveira. Oliveira, the more conservative of the 2 fullbacks. It means Di Lorenzo could press forward on this near side, keeping Spinazzola back.
And Karsdorp has clear instructions to shadow Kvara everywhere he goes. He's going to be very conservative with his runs forward. Is Roma's right wing back. That is the side that I'm sure Mourinho's game plan for. Mancini will come across to help with the double team. I mean, that is the ultimate. Sorry, Andres. The ultimate sign of respect is you've seen various teams so far basically man-mark Kvara the entirety of the game. You saw Milan do it with Davide Calabria. Kvara ended up getting half of Milan's backline booked and drawing a penalty in that game. At 21 years old, you're pretty much the one singled out by the opposition's manager.
To the penalty on Serginho Dest. Zielinski. Ndombele misplaces his pass. It's taken back by Pellegrini, and Ndombele atones for the mistake. Karsdorp. So often when Napoli win the ball back, their first instinct, their first pass is to go forward. With Mourinho's Roma, it's the opposite. It's flung into the final third now. Abraham battling with Minje, and it's a Korean international who wins out more often than not. Oliveira pressured by Zaniolo, and it's Oliveira, the Uruguayan, on the front foot. Crossed in, looking for Chucky Lozano. It's acrobatic from Lozano, but a high degree of difficulty to get on target.
It's actually a good attempt from Lozano to even make clean contact in the air, extending every inch of his body. And he keeps it low. And Cavada's gotten that sort of treatment today. They're going to be ultra aggressive with him. What was it, the hack-a-shack? Is it hack-a-Cavada? Is that a new tactic employed around Serie A?
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
No. But it could be an effective way of at least slowing him down. That's the last thing we want to see. We want to see a Cavada open space as a neutral observer.
Kim Min-jae. 10 minutes left in first half normal time. Zaniolo making a nuisance of himself. And he's disappointed not to have gotten there ahead of Kim. Lobotka.
Credit Zaniolo's work rate. He's the one that's made Napoli's defense at times look a bit nervy.
Into the area now for Osimhen, who's tightly marked by Smalling. Leans on Lozano. Ndombele. Di Lorenzo. Sent back by Lobotka. He's put it into orbit. Knocked down for Oliveira this time. Cavada with Zielinski. Lovely connectivity between those two. It's Cavada! And at the edge of the 18, Smalling there to block the shot. Pellegrini. Both teams absolutely up for it. The two sides matching each other's intensity in these first 37 minutes. Ndombele. It's an opening here for Zielinski. He hesitated. Slipped through for Ndombele. He dances his way through, and Rui Patricio puts out the fire. But it's given as a penalty. Ndombele goes to ground. Smalling, among the Giallorossi players pleading their case. It's a penalty given.
Well, the biggest question here is, does Rui Patricio make a touch on the ball before he goes into Ndombele? It's impossible to see from this angle. The reverse angle should give us a lot more answers.
Oof. Does not appear as though he did. We'll get a better look at it here. And he does not get a touch on the ball.
Wow. This is the best angle yet, Andres. Now,
similar to what we saw yesterday between Fiorentina and Inter. And one that did have a slight touch. This one appears not to have, and can't imagine VAR may overturn this. But you never know. Video assistant referee is Gianluca Manganiello.
It seemed that with the force of Rui Patricio, the way that he slapped the ball, did he just slap it right off of the shin? And that's why it squirted out wide so quickly. Where's that reverse angle, Andres? It's so hard to tell. And this is why you see in VAR, even yesterday, so difficult to tell that in the end it seemed like they got the wrong call.
Yeah.
And those are professional referees.
So Irati will go and have a look at it himself. The important thing to consider here is that the ruling on the pitch is a penalty, and so it has to be a clear and obvious error on video review in order to overturn.
I mean, this is a matter of freeze frames.
Oh, does he get a touch here?
Oh, he does.
He does.
He absolutely does. And this is the freeze frame and slow-mo that we were missing. I mean, it looks like he gets a touch onto the ball with his fingers before he goes through the legs.
Well, it's a very short look.
Should be overturned.
Irati. And indeed, He has overturned it, no penalty, and it was that last replay, really the only replay we saw that gave us a clear view of the contact.
Andres, this is when VAR turns out and does its job quickly, efficiently, and it was that freeze frame, the director doing a very good job there from the Serie A truck of slowing down the exact millisecond in which you could see Rui Patricio's fingers making a touch on the ball before there was contact on the Napoli player in Ndombele.
On a moment of huge consequence.
It's really one that, in live time, it's impossible. That's why they showed the slowed down image to the referee as the first one. That's the one, and it really is one that it's impossible to know if you don't have VAR, if you can't slow it down to that degree. Because it's all happening so quickly.
A rare smile, but it's a sarcastic smile from Spalletti. It's won by Minje again as he challenges Tammy Abraham. Pellegrini. Poked loose by Di Lorenzo. It's Juan Jesus in possession. Inside of the final 5 minutes of first half normal time, Oliveira. It's intercepted by Karsdorp. These teams have come out with great energy. And in the final few minutes of the opening half, they maintain that high level of intensity. Mancini. Say for one time that Zaniolo got away, it didn't seem like there's a huge sense of threat and danger on those long balls from Roma, but all they need is one bounce to go their way in a 1v1 situation. Ndombele dispossessed by Mancini.
Didn't even get to mention how good Ndombele was at even creating that opportunity. Such quick feet.
Spinazzola. Marked closely again by Kim Min-jae. And it's given as a corner for the Giallorossi. Pellegrini calibrates. Delivered in, it's dealt with by Osimhen. Karsdorp. Nearly every ball contested, made to work for every possession. Zaniolo. Ibanez, unfamiliar territory. Bacchio from Cristante, controlled by Abraham in traffic and poked loose by Oliveira. Offside against Roma.
Such a
Abraham
swarm.
was coming back.
So many Napoli defenders there clustered at the edge of the box. When Tammy received the ball, it was just slightly offside. A heel past Juan Jesus. Second for us to catch our breaths. Been incredibly entertaining for 0-0.
Of course, it finished 0-0 here in October of last year. One of the two draws they played to in Serie A. 1-1 in the second and most recent meeting. Osimhen has been given very little room by Smalling, who's always marking him tightly. Mancini running into some trouble and turning it over. It's Lozano now on a short pitch to counter for Napoli. Chucky Lozano against Central in the final effort, and no trouble for Rui Patricio.
This is a different looking Chucky Lozano today. He's looking confident. He's trying to take matters into his own hands. Look at how easily he just dances around the center back. Ibanez That's far too easy. It's poor man marking from Ibanez, it must be said. Then he's trying to go across goal. It doesn't work out for him, but it's the way that he's able to create that effort, which is very impressive. Was a very good goal-scoring winger in his time at PSV, 18-goal season. That's why Napoli made him, at the time, a record signing. Of course, that record got smashed.
Spinazzola.
By a Seaman, I believe.
Was just my impression, or has Lozano been more involved on his near side than Kvara on the far?
No, you're absolutely right. Kvara hasn't gotten on the ball all that much. He's had a few nice dribbles.
Zaniolo has, and he's in a battle here with Oliveira. Karsdorp driven into the area. It falls for Spinazzola. Working against Lozano, who scrambled all the way back. Kamara. Well, he's begging for help and not getting it from Spinazzola. But ball is still in play. It touches off of Spinazzola. 3 minutes added on. We'll play until at least the end of the 48th in this opening half.
Madi has to double check that that ball, the entirety of it, crossed the line. He gave up on it when half the ball was still on the line.
Oliveira enjoying a bit of space out on that far side. It's well anticipated once more by Pellegrini, jumping into the passing lane. And Zaniolo trying to feed him with a better quality ball. They're playing a million miles a minute. You can understand why some of these passes haven't been as crisp as they might otherwise be.
Especially Zaniolo. He's been the one who's probably logged the most kilometers so far in the first half. It's been a handful physically, especially when Napoli defenders are trying to ride the challenge and dispossess him from the ball. He's just so quick and powerful for a player of his position who can go by you out wide. Normally not 6'2" and built the way he is.
Menje, it's a good ball out of the back to find Lozano. Keeping Ibanez busy here. It's a good battle between the two. And a goal kick, the end result.
Well, that's one way of stopping Lozano, is you pancake him.
He's brought out the yellow card. Massimiliano Irrati, not clear it was for Lozano as he was barking at the referee's assistant. First yellow this season for Chucky.
Looked legal, the shoulder to shoulder.
Final few seconds of time added on. Acrobatic from Dombele. It's Zielinski now leading the charge for Napoli. All of the options to the inside of him. Cristante gets tangled up with Lozano. Oliveira. Not really under control, and that'll do for an exciting, albeit scoreless, opening 45 in Rome. It's Roma 0, Napoli 0. The Giallorossi still looking for their first shot on target. Napoli have threatened mostly through Chucky Lozano. Still need that end result. Stalemate at the break.
Hi, welcome back. 0-0 is the score in Rome between Napoli and Roma. Are you expecting to see any changes for either side at the break, Marco?
I do. I think that for Roma, they kind of need someone to hold the ball up. One thing is Tammy Abraham, he's constantly losing the ball. So maybe someone like Belotti and maybe even Matic in the center midfield. For Napoli, I mean, pick your poison. They got Raspadori, Simeone, Politano, one better than the other who could really unlock defenses. The biggest thing, Roma can't concede. If they concede, they are in big trouble. So it's a dangerous match.
Oh, I agree. Roma has to continue making it difficult, but they have to go now next level and try to find something in the game. They have to hit a little bit more on the counter, find a little bit more substance in their chances, in their final third, a little bit more composure from Zaniolo when he gets into these pretty dangerous positions. Because if they don't get the goal and Napoli score, this game is over.
Yeah, I could see a little bit of creativity come on on from the bench, maybe El Shaarawy for Pellegrini, something to link play for Roma. Again, Belotti possibly for Tammy Abraham because he's not able to hold on to the ball. So I think maybe some spark of creativity and a hold-up player would be ideal for Roma, but Napoli probably more the same.
Oh, plenty to play for then in the second half. Let's get you back over to Dre and Matteo. We'll see you after the final whistle. Enjoy.
A calm and composed Jose Mourinho as the Roma starters make their way back out for the start of the second half. Rui Patricio has certainly been the busier of the two goalkeepers, but most of what he's had to deal with has been comfortable and central from Napoli. One huge VAR decision to correct what otherwise would have been a penalty against the home side, and they start the second half on level terms, Matteo.
Yeah, and Roma was playing a little bit deeper, vertical, and in part because of the way that Napoli were committing so many bodies forward that oftentimes when one of the Roma defenders got on the ball, there just wasn't that outlet and Brian Cristante to pass it to for him to continue the play. So they had to go deep. I thought Zaniolo was dangerous at times. On the other side, a bit of a quieter game from Cavada. He constantly had either Karsdorp or Mancini draped all over him. So saw some really good moments though from Zielinski connecting the midfield with the attack.
Ball rolls on the second half, and as the second stanza kicks off, the live table has Napoli top of the standings, but by a single point over Milan. Roma remain fifth, 1 point back of Atalanta for a Champions League spot. No changes in personnel from either manager. We'll see if there's a change in style and approach. Wonderful from Tammy Abraham to find Pellegrini. Roma do not take advantage as they slow their transition. Anyone in particular stand out, Matteo, in the course of the first 45?
Oof, tough question.
For me, Lozano had a game-high 5 touches in the opposition's 18. He seemed threatening. Despite the chances not giving too much difficulty to Rui Patricio, he just seemed the biggest threat on the pitch.
That's fair.
Meret. It's no secret that Napoli were trying to lure a top-tier goalkeeper, an experienced goalkeeper, to the Maradona this summer. We do have Sirigu, who is injured. It's another PSG shot stopper that they really wanted. Could not get in Costa Rican Keylor Navas in the end. Meret raising a few questions after a blunder last week.
And that was really his only high-profile mistake. And I know that, sadly, that's the one that's going to be scrutinized the most. But I think he showed a lot of character, especially in the Champions League games, with a lot of fans, obviously, at the start of the season, not feeling entirely comfortable. And he knew that his own club was searching for an upgrade that didn't materialize in the end with Keylor Navas, which is a difficult position to be in as a goalkeeper. That's why I think that Meret really did show his personality and had a really good stretch of games until that terrible mistake that he made last week.
Karsdorp, that's dangerous play. And certainly Rick Karsdorp will pick up his yellow card as he catches Oliveira in the head.
And this is really bad because he's playing on the side that Kvaratskhelia is on. And if you already are on a yellow card and you're going up against someone who's almost always drawing the foul with his dribbling, that is a dangerous high boot. I would assume you're going to see a change there at right wing back. Jose Mourinho cannot play with fire and have the person marking Cavada be on a yellow card.
Just making his return from a meniscus injury that he suffered in mid-September, Karsdorp. Returned last week with a 7-minute cameo off the bench, now back in the starting lineup. Napoli are missing some big pieces. Rahmani, for example, who's been such a staple of that back four. Jean Jesus filling in admirably, and a little extra motivation today going up against his former team. Minje nearly gives away a very dangerous ball. Tammy Abraham timed his tackle well. And it's Oliveira flying forward now. He leaves it for Kvaratskhelia. Mati Oliveira Dummy through by Ndombele. It's Lozano again. Chucky Lozano! This time lifted over, and if there was a touch, it's a corner for Napoli as Lozano continues to threaten.
Nice combinations there from Oliveira and Cavada on this left side. That's what was the catalyst for the shot to finally come off from Lozano, who you said was so active in that first half and so much confidence as well. He's not even hesitating with his decisions. He's going for the target every time he's got even a glimmer of space.
Zielinski lifted in. Spinazzola did well. Napoli will build back up through Lobotka. Okay, João Jesus. That was the best of Lozano's efforts so far. Patricio was equal to it. Zielinski telegraphed the pass, and Abraham was all too happy to collect. Mancini, accurate to find Pellegrini. Spinazzola. Pellegrini continues his run. It's a good ball in from Spinazzola, and he just runs out of real estate. Roma captain is yet to score a goal this season, but he does have one to go with his 4 assists. Just past the 200 mark in games. Pellegrini, while Cristante picks up a yellow card here. He's the 3rd Roma player booked, joining Smalling and Karsdorp.
Yeah, that's late. Seaman was taking a touch to the outside. Cristante millimeters away from the ball.
It's 5 yellow cards handed out already. The 3 on the Roma side plus Ndombele and Lozano for Napoli. Lobotka. Cavada with a hopeful ball in. Neither Osimhen or Zielinski seem willing to chase. Saw plenty of this in the first half. Those long balls to Abraham, which usually were contested by 2 of the Napoli defenders. And Abraham can win those and can knock them down, but he has to have players around him. Oh, now he's got Zaniolo looking to unwrap a gift.
That was Oliveira with the giveaway and won it back. Zaniolo almost didn't hear the footsteps from behind. Didn't play the ball out in time and too easily dispossessed, given the chance that he had just created.
Lozano. Aurelio De Laurentiis, president and shot caller for this Napoli team, lifted them from the lower leagues to the powerhouse they've become over the last, or become once more for the last decade plus. And if they do manage to find a game winner, you wouldn't bet on this game to finish 0-0, but Napoli trying to match a club record for consecutive wins across all competitions. And last time they did it was with Diego Maradona leading them to their first Scudetto.
Oh, well done,
Zielinski slaloming his way through. He's got Cavada on his left. Kvaratskhelia, he sends Mancini away, and Smalling there to recover.
Brilliant work, though, from Zielinski, picking the pocket of Tammy Abraham, driving by multiple Roma defenders.
Sent Mancini to the corner store. Lozano against Spinazzola. Tried to force the issue. Ndombele. Zielinski.
And that was a great example of why Kvaratskhelia is so impossible to mark. You have no idea, do I show him inside or outside? He fakes it on his quote-unquote right-left better foot in the right one, and then he cuts it back to the outside and tries to drill it with his left. We've seen him score this season with both right and left. Doesn't really have a favorite foot. He's completely ambipedal.
Well, like all great, it's good vocabulary, by the way, like all great dribblers, his first moves are always directly at his marker. He goes directly at Mancini, and the moment he decides to go one way or the other, Mancini was spun around.
And as we said in the first half, there's no wasted movement, right? There's no cute little step overs when you're standing still. It's just efficient.
Pretty and with purpose. Juan Jesus. So far, 42 goals from the previous 14 games across all competitions for Napoli. Averaged 3 goals per game. Dominated in Serie A. They've dominated in the Champions League. They have their hands full with Roma here tonight. Minje. Jesus. Zielinski could not connect with Oliveira. Ten minutes gone since the restart, and very much the way that the final few minutes of that first half are going. Foul after the pass was made. Smalling shaken up. Contact from Victor Osimhen. Just didn't give him a landing spot.
There's a look at that chop. Multiple chops by Cavada. Normally drills it with his left low and hard, but that time he didn't catch it as sweetly as he has in the past. It was curling away from goal.
Really did seem to leave Mancini in an existential crisis. It's Elif Elmas who was preparing to check in for the visitors.
Yeah, and throughout his Napoli tenure, Elmas has pretty much just been a super sub, but he's a very technical player. He can play centrally or out wide, good in close quarters.
So that is the end of Dombele's outing. He did have that yellow card picked up in the 46th minute, and it's the North Macedonia international Elif Elmas on for his 10th appearance this season, most of his work off the bench.
And Dombele had that really good period when he danced by a defender and nearly drew a penalty from Rui Patricio. Very talented player with the ball at his feet, isn't he, in Dombele? Just needed some fresh air and a new challenge away from Spurs.
As far as what you would have in a normal Napoli best 11, based on what we've seen this season, Rahmani and Giza and Mario Rui would be the 3 pieces that did not start this one. Dombele has given them that real depth in midfield competition that keeps everyone sharp. It's wonderful again from Cavada. Mancini showing signs of frustration. Even Zaniolo, who might have just caught Kvaratskhelia.
And look at how high up the field Mancini is going to put a body on Cavada, and Cavada does so well, using his balance and strength to stay upright.
I haven't kept count, but I believe Mourinho might have as many yellow cards as any of his players this season. He's been sent off. Picks up another booking now in the 58th minute.
It has been quite easily triggered. Sometimes on the sideline, Mourinho has always been very emotional.
Does seem to be loving his time in the Italian capital, and they absolutely love him. Di Lorenzo. Just want to find Lozano quickly. He's toppled on a fair challenge by Ibanez. Spinazzola. Ricochets off of Elmas, and did it strike the hand? Referee's given a handball. Toppled by Ibanez. There's that ball that ricochets up onto the arm. Kvara. It's been nearly 40 minutes since Roma last had a shot. Let's take toward the hour mark in the capital.
Yeah, the successful Roma, though, is keeping this Napoli offense, which has been incredible, both in Champions League and in Serie A, to no goals in 60 minutes. The only other team that's really been able to stop this Napoli offense so far this season has been Fiorentina, who I actually thought outplayed Napoli in that game.
A rare Meret sighting. Oliveira. Osimhen, that's clever to get past Smalling from Victor Osimhen. But covering well for his teammate was Ibanez. Tried to use Smalling's own aggression against him that time. Osimhen, he anticipated he would be marking him very closely. So lovely turn by Kvara to leave Karsdorp in his wake.
How good is that?
Di Lorenzo from distance, clipped in, looking for Zielinski, knocked down for Chucky Lozano. It's Elmas inside of the 6, his first sight of goal. And he cannot believe he didn't convert.
Seriously, but what a beautiful sequence. Once again, Zielinski playing the role of provider, but it all starts from Kvara. He's way out wide. You think surely Roma have him closed down and there's nowhere to go.
Kvara weaving his way forward. He's stopped by Karsdorp this time. Zielinski's cross deflected. It's Osimhen who settles. Juan Jesus! Oh, he would have loved to score against his former club.
Oh, Napoli would have wished it was anyone else but one of the two big center backs in that position. The ball drops almost perfectly to Juan Jesus, and look how close he is to goal. He's just outside the 6-yard box, and he completely shanks it, slices through it with the outside of his boot, nowhere near the target.
It is on his preferred left foot, but his technique was all kinds of wrong.
I don't think he has a preferred foot when shooting at goal, Andres. He doesn't shoot.
Well, he's got a goal this season. Oliveira, they're allowed to continue. Osimhen's hold-up play. Lozano. Some inspired form, Lozano, and he's found Osimhen.
Nice hold-up play again from Osimhen. That's difficult to hold off Chris Smalling.
Now ricochets off of Irati. It'll restart via drop ball. Question here is, will he give it to Roma? Gallo Belotti, one of the new signings, a reinforcement in attack. And we got just under half an hour.
You know, curious to see, will it be a direct swap for Tammy Abraham, who has been quiet? Or will he play two strikers up front? Mourinho. Gallo Belotti joined over from Torino. They needed a substitute that they could rely on for Abraham after Eldor Shomurodov wasn't really hitting his stride. If only Shomurodov can play like the team of the week version of himself, this would be better.
One of his first ever Serie A goals came against Napoli. Andrea Belotti, when he was a Palermo player, he scored a brace against them. 2 of his 5 goals against the Partenope. And Roma could use a 6th now. It is a like-for-like swap as Abraham exits.
Oh, one of the most consistent Serie A goal scorers of the last decade in Serie A, Gallo Belotti. Every season with Napoli, double digits. Always know what you're going to get from him. Honest work rate off the ball, first line of defense. And someone who can score in a variety of ways, right foot, left foot, header. He might not be the most technically gifted player, but he works so hard for you up top.
Speaking of hard work, Lobotka there to collect. Catapulted away by João Jesus. Smalling retreats. Game of head volley breaking out. Finally settled by Osimhen. Fired into the area. Smalling, not the most convincing header. It fortuitously fell to Karsdorp. Don't have the best record against the top four when on home soil. Roma, they've won none of the last 12 against teams that are in Champions League positions. Lost the last 3. In fact, the last time they beat a top 4 team at home in Serie A was Allegri's Juventus back in May of 2019. Allegri's previous spell. Napoli not just top 4, but the class of Serie A through the first 10 match days. Jesus. Down by Ibanez, but only as far as Elmas. Di Lorenzo. Cristante there to break it up. Napoli retreat to Alex Meret.
And a few times recently for Roma in their victories, it might not have been the most entertaining games to watch, but it's been effective from a defensive standpoint.
Only conceded twice at home this season. 3 wins, 1 defeat. Respectable 9 out of 12 points on home soil. And this crowd hasn't just been treated to a show all season, they've put on a show. Long looping switch to Karsdorp near side. Mancini short on options, forced to reset all the way back to Rui Patricio. Controlled by Pellegrini. Had few options forward, and Napoli had plenty of men back. Kamara. Karsdorp was offside. Napoli set the trap. Haven't been shut out since the match that you mentioned. Napoli were held to a 0-0 draw by Fiorentina at the Stadio Franchi. Scored in every other game across all competitions this season. And scored plenty. Vodka. Line splitting pass doesn't reach Karsdorp. Oliveira was there to intercept. Here's Kvara now. And Zaniolo sprinting back. It's wonderfully done by Cristante. Cristante's covered well for the defenders on both flanks.
And that's why he's there. It's the defensive presence in the midfield, big physical player.
Something of a renaissance for him as well under Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, and rangy passer as well. He's always looking for that long ball over the top, especially in this style, in this game particularly, where they do face a team that likes to play a higher line and take some risks. Will leave spaces in behind for some of those Roma players to exploit, although that hasn't exactly worked out on the score sheet.
Few chances, plenty of intensity, and still a real tension about this match. It could very much go either way. Lifted forward for Belotti. He's yet to get his first touch since coming on, Belotti. Lobotka. Starting to show a few cracks playing out of the back, Napoli. It's Zaniolo into the area now to squeeze it in. Parried by Meret. Collected by Pellegrini. It still could be on for Kamara. And Zielinski makes an important block. Back the other way comes Chucky Lozano. It gets through for Victor Osimhen. And it's Osimhen! And does Rui Patricio just get a touch?
Wow, end to end. A great chance set up by Zaniolo on one side. And on the counter-attack, Ibanez takes the risk. He tries to intercept that pass, and he gets it wrong. That allows Osimhen to get in behind. Right here, Pellegrini's doing the layup. I mean, how massive is that sliding challenge from Piotr Zielinski? And no, there's no touch by the goalkeeper. It's just about a few feet wide. It's a delicate pass from Lozano to play it into stride for Osimhen. Ibanez goes for the risk and tries to get a touch onto it, and fortunately for him, gets his angles wrong.
Has been in good form in his limited time back. Osimhen, back-to-back goals off the bench against Ajax, against Bologna. Had a moment there to cover himself in glory. You know, there's that moment that Kamara went down, suggestive of a muscle problem. Ibanez gets completely turned around here. And Osimhen fails to put it on target.
And Ibanez is trying to occupy that space in between Lozano and the kind of target Osimhen. That's where Napoli can be so deadly. Even though they normally pin teams into their own half, they are also so lethal on the counterattack. Mostly due to Victor Osimhen leading the line.
An incredible sequence, nearly 1-0 Kamara on one end, nearly 1-0 Osimhen on the other end.
And the scoreline doesn't do this game justice, right? Someone just sees that it's 0-0. I have no idea how this game has gone, how entertaining it's been, the intensity, the pace which is being played. That's why you're starting to see a few of these muscular injuries. It's been really non-stop, frenetic.
Abraham only watching now. He was replaced by Belotti in the 64th minute. Inside of the final 20 minutes. Meret. It's the first time that Meret was really called into action, was to deal with that low cross from Zaniolo. Responded very well. As has Mancini here. Did he get that to ricochet off of the Napoli midfielder? He did not.
Who's Mancini talking to? Someone on Napoli's staff. He was telling him all sorts.
I believe the yellow was given to Mancini for his protest. And if so, that makes him the fourth Roma player to pick up a yellow. Lozano. Aggressive marking. Effective marking. So too from Kim Min-jae. Denying the pass from Belotti. Kamara. Oh, he squeezes his way through to split the double team.
Done well.
Knocked down by Osimhen. It's found its way to Pellegrini, working against Oliveira. Cristante. Roma attempting to lure Napoli out of their defensive posture. And Napoli happy to go and press. It's well done in the air by Oliveira, knocking it down for Min-jae. Di Lorenzo. Space to operate for Chucky Lozano. against Ibanez. And was he just pulled by Ibanez? Indeed, Ibanez now also picks up a yellow.
Well, what we've seen so far in this game has been two very good defensive units, more so than the attackers being the storyline. All the talk, of course, for Napoli, the goal scoring, the incredible play of Kvaratskhelia. But Roma and Napoli's defense have really been so organized and solid today.
So Chucky Lozano will make way as Politano will step in to replace him on the right wing. And we'll also see the introduction of Gianluca Gaetano, who's played just 16 minutes this season in Serie A. It's a cameo against Spezia. Comes on to replace Zielinski with a quarter of an hour to play.
Always excited to see the 22-year-old Gaetano, who's a local kid from nearby Cimitile, the Naples province. He's considered by many to be the future of Napoli in the midfield. Good to see him starting to get more and more games with the senior side after 2 seasons on loan with Cremonese last season, helping them get promoted. 7 goals in 35 matches for him there.
Steps on to replace the present of the Napoli midfield in Zielinski. It's his 6th appearance in Serie A overall, a combined 44 minutes. Chance to add to that tally now. It's flung into the heart of the box. Smalling was there to meet it. And Zaniolo commits the foul.
Credulous.
Spalletti was the yellow card that we saw earlier was not for Mancini but for Spalletti. Both managers have been booked. Have to love this league, the way that the big games feel like big games, the tension about all of them, that massive points are on the line. Entertaining, attacking from the top teams. And here's Belotti. Oliveira wins the battle. Lobotka. And there was the earlier foul that's being whistled as Belotti is the guilty party. Or was the handball spotted? Don't believe they spotted that in real time.
No, they didn't. And Cavada's been very nervous recently. He feels like there's been a lot of contact that hasn't gone his way. Roma have taken that physical stance with him, really trying to negate the threat that he offers. Speaking of physical players, that's a big one in the 6'4" Nemanja Matic, who joined in the summer in the Premier League.
Sure. To your point, Matteo Cavada's been as entertaining and as effective as anyone anywhere in Europe this season, but he has been contained by Roma tonight.
I say that. He had one great chance, maybe one of the best chances of the game when he went by Smalling. And just
Politano
pushed that ball wide on his left foot.
Play continues with Politano in possession. Gaetano. Lobotka attempting to clean it up. It's ricocheted out for Kamara. Crowd wanted a foul. Said they have this counter-attack. Zaniolo.
Still got the pace.
Zaniolo against Oliveira. And that will bring a free kick opportunity for Roma. And the yellow. Another yellow for Oliveira.
Zaniolo's played a fine game. He might not have the stats this season. No goals, no assists in Serie A. But how hard he's worked, the chances he's created, he has been the thorn in Napoli's side with the style they play. The biggest danger, what's made their defense look nervy at times, has been this directness from the powerful Zaniolo, just constantly running at this defense, playing in a few good crosses too. And he's always the outlet. If you're going to be direct, a player like Zaniolo is going to make you look a lot more dangerous in a game like this.
So Oliveira, the third Napoli player booked. And Ndombele and Lozano, the others, have been subsequently subbed out. Lobotka, the latest. Since the start of last season, only Napoli have more set-piece goals than Roma in Serie A. And the giallorossi look to strike on a dead ball situation now. It's Pellegrini who measures up, just Politano on the wall for a minute. And Zaniolo has an idea. Lifted into the back post. It's Osimhen to dispel the danger. Zaniolo in a foot race with Oliveira once more. And this time Oliveira gets her to shield. Adjusted well. Gaetano. Politano, forward for Osimhen to chase. He couldn't get in behind Smalling here. He has done. Muscles his way past Smalling. And Victor Osimhen returns to the starting lineup with an exclamation mark of a goal. 3 goals in as many games on his return, and this may be the biggest. With 10 minutes to play, he has his way with Smalling, and it's Napoli 1, Roma 0.
Simply uncontainable. Instinctive switch. Napoli know that Osimhen's going to be making this run. But Chris Smalling, who's one of the better defenders in the league, he just gets bullied over. Osimhen, not just the pace, but the balance, the strength to be able to withstand any contact from Smalling. That's not good defending from the usually solid Smalling. He allows Osimhen to get in behind. He misjudges his attempted interception. Osimhen's been an absolute pest. Finally gets one to go his way. And this finish too, Andres, it's from such an impossibly tight angle. Look at how he catches it on the hop. Wow, that is perfect. It's even more incredible when you take a look at it from that position. He couldn't have hit it any better. It's a world-class finish. Incredible ability with the pace and the control. And then the technique on that shot is breathtaking, and he sends these fans as the pure ecstasy, the small sliver of Stadio Olimpico that's been given to the Napoletani.
So Matthias Vigna and Stefan El Shaarawy check in. Karsdorp and Mancini, rather Kamara. Mancini and Matic also coming on. Matic for Kamara. El Shaarawy and Vigna will man the wings. Napoli have the would-be game winner. Victor Osimhen watched as Raspadori became Italy's next great hope, as Cholito Simeone proved himself to be a super sub. He was so eager to score when he came back. He's done it in 3 straight games. And at the moment, Napoli's win streak stretches to 11. In all competitions, their lead at the top of the table stretches to 3 points.
Andres, Napoli have fought through adversity. They don't feel it, and it's a young team. What they did in the summer, they got rid of these old veterans, the guys who were the quote-unquote senatori in the dressing room. And
Spinazzola falls for Vigna.
Oh, what is Vigna doing?
Until now, and Oliveira dealt with it. Cristante on the volley won't trouble Minette.
Oh, Cristante is just looking at Vigna saying, are you serious? Just takes it away from him. Cristante was about to unleash. And Vigna, his first touch of the game, disastrous. What a hit that was from Osimhen. That last replay is just, it's one of the finer finishes of the season, Andres. And given the moment and the team that they're facing in Rome against Jose Mourinho's giallorossi, it's unbelievable that a team that's supposed to be in a rebuild like Napoli, that they've showed this much character. 25-1 underdogs in the summer to win the Scudetto. Just to give you an idea, Roma were about 9-1 at a certain point.
Shomurodov prepares to check in. This time Smalling clears the danger. What is Napoli's ceiling, and do they even have one? Shomurodov will make his introduction.
Oh, that's a striker.
Spinazzola who makes way.
Striker in Shomurodov coming in for Spinazzola. Shomurodov still has not been able to play at the level that he did at Genoa. Not even close.
Kvara. Strong from Matic. Zaniolo. When he dribbled into traffic. Fighting to win it back. Just look at the color of Zaniolo's shirt compared to every other Roma player. It's Kvara against Smalling now. And Smalling makes short work.
Oh, Smalling couldn't get beaten again. He's already suffered once against Kvara. Allowed a Seaman to beat him quite badly.
There's not a half an inch of Zaniolo's kit, shirt or shorts, that is not completely soaked in sweat.
I just noticed that
dark crimson red compared to everyone else.
Yeah, it looks like he's playing for Torino. Look at that. I mean, that is, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
5 minutes remaining for Roma to try and snatch something from this. And for Napoli to match their best ever start in all competitions. Kvara gets away, but not from Zaniolo.
Zaniolo, he deserves standing applause from every Roma fan. He has worked harder than anyone else on the field. As Andres just said, he's wearing a completely different colored kit now because of it. The proof is right there. Don't take it from me.
The goal has not had a calming influence on Luciano Spalletti, and I'm not sure anything can. Politano, outswinger, edge of the 6. It's Matic who met it. Recovered by Gaetano. Did really well to find Politano here. They're queued up at the back post. Vigna makes the block. Given away and recovered by Politano. Every blade of grass is contested. Kvara. Well, he was getting away from Pellegrini, pulled down by the Roma captain.
Almost got clotheslined there. That's another way to stop him. That still looks sharp and quick. Kvara in the 87th minute. Just an array of moves to get by his marker. So clever with the way that he's always able to find space against his marker.
It's curled in, a strong header to send it away. Jesus. Kvara and blasted forward for Osimhen. Worked well enough when Politano did it. The offside flag is up. Time running out on the Giallorossi, the 3-game win streak on the ropes. Yet to win 4 in a row with Mourinho in charge. And Minje. $26 goals Napoli have scored in Serie A. They've spread those out among 15 different goal scorers, the most of any team in the top European leagues. In fact, there isn't a outside of Di Lorenzo and Gaetano, a player on the pitch for Napoli that has not scored this season. Smalling there to intercept. Ibanez was playing with fire as he wrestled Osimhen to the ground. Smalling. Constante. Flung forward. It's a very good ball forward.
Great header from Kim Min-jae.
Now Gaetano back the other way, full of energy. Politano working against El Shaarawy. Final minute of normal time. Concentration and game management needed from
Kvara isolated.
Napoli. Kvaratskhelia.
Oh, that's clever.
Out of that run of Elmas. And Min-jae. Attempting to stay in the way of Gallo Belotti. Nothing given. Di Lorenzo now. Gaetano with all kinds of space to consider his options. Is closed out by Vigna. Sent away by Vigna. An additional 5 minutes tacked on will play until at least the end of the 95th at the Olimpico. It is something of a lifeline for the home side. And blasted forward, looking for Shomurodov, who's not been involved since checking in. Traveling support of Napoli. Zaniolo. In control, but losing his balance, and with it went to possession. Had his pocket picked by Gaetano. Kvara. Vigna does well to stand his ground. Intensity of Spalletti matched by the intensity of his team. Di Lorenzo gaining ground. Politano. Dragging El Shaarawy with him. Elmas. Min-jae into the final third, and he slips it in for Politano neatly. Smalling awkwardly, but cleared.
What a ball that was from the center back. Precise through ball.
And a rare instance where Kvaratskhelia fails to control. Well, popples up onto the arm of Gaetano. Free kick for Roma.
And Roma unable to keep hold of the ball for longer than a few stretches of the time, with Napoli continually pressing forward, even with that goal advantage. A lot of teams will just sit back in a very low block. You're finally seeing it now from Napoli, but that wasn't the case in the last few minutes.
Catapulted in. It's a handball against Belotti. Counterattacks and long balls have been the resource that Roma have gone to time and time again against the top team in the league. It is given as a Napoli throw. 2 minutes remaining of the minimum 5. So Shaarawy leaves it for Rui Patricio. Flung into the center circle. Jean Jesus is tangled up with Matic, and Matic is slow to get up. Kvara. And bodies hitting the ground everywhere. The players are exhausted.
Yeah, it's incredible that the pace has never let down. And Mourinho getting another talking to. You heard a few times, or microphones picked it up, his assistants telling him to calm down, not to get a second yellow and be suspended again. A little bit of extras there from Juan Jesus on Chris Smalling, backed right into the hip of Smalling, sending him tumbling. And then he's gotten a rough treatment tonight as well, Kvara.
Napoli have a way of taking ownership of the opposition's final third. Certainly applied steady pressure to Roma.
Well, they always play the same, even if they're up a goal. It doesn't matter if they're home or away.
Osimhen happy to send it away. And it might have bounced hard.
Wow! That's the question.
Of Rui Patricio.
Can you imagine that went in? Would that have been the best goal of all time?
Incredibly can. The way that Napoli and Osimhen are in form. Here's Beret. Oh, if there is a ceiling for them, Napoli have yet to even sense it. A club record, 11 consecutive wins in all competitions. They climb 3 points clear in sole possession of first place. And Victor Osimhen, the hero, with his third goal in his third match back. It's Napoli 1, Roma 0 in the capital.
Well, Napoli have been maybe the most impressive team in Europe, whether it's in the Champions League group stage where they're leading the pack, or in Serie A where they're also the top. And Karsdorp, he just attacked the referee.
Oh, Rick Karsdorp has lost his mind here, and that'll likely
Karsdorp just shoved the
be
referee.
a lengthy suspension. Oh, that aside, it is another victory for Napoli. A 26th goal for the Pertenope, who looked very much like the class of Serie A and the team to beat in the Scudetto race. Atalanta's loss earlier means Napoli the only undefeated team in the Italian top flight after 11 match days. From the Olimpico, Napoli 1, Roma 0. And we'll go back to Poppy Miller in studio.
Well, tensions running high after the final whistle here, but a statement win, Grella, yet again for Spalletti's side. But Roma, they made them work hard for it today.
Yeah, you know, Napoli, they're so versatile. Like, you sit back against them, or you press them like Liverpool did, and they put 4 past you. Could have been 8 that day. You sitting against them, they still find a way to win. You kick them, they still find a way to answer it. You know, look where they are on the table now. They were fantastic again today because they won in a different way. They won without all the pretty passing and all the good football. They were able to hang around and hit on the counter. Osimhen showing again his value. And I don't want to take this from you, but we both said it. Spalletti, to not sub Osimhen, for Raspadori and Simeone, you have those great options on the bench. To keep Osimhen in for that big moment, almost as if he knew what the game was going to look like in the last 15 minutes. That's awesome from
That's
Spalletti.
what the best coaches do, though. They read situations and they know their players. They know even if Osimhen, he missed that 1v1 that we looked at earlier and he wasn't able to score that, he knew that, hey, he's still got something inside of him. Even all of us were questioning him. Like, how does Gianluca Gaetano come in and he still didn't do the sub? That's what Spalletti has. And look at this from Napoli. They have 11 straight wins in all competitions. It's the first time since 1986 that they've done this. So I don't know what Fugazi stats you had before saying that this is not the best Napoli. This is one of the best Napolis ever. And my applause to them because tonight was sensational.
Any room left on that tree? I want to hop on.
Come through.
Here's look what happened post-match, the red card there. I think it was Karsdorp that got the red card in the end, or maybe the assistant coach. Tensions, no doubt, high. How will Jose reflect on this game, though? Because for a large portion of this game, the game plan seemed to be working to a T. But here is where he just pushed the referee down.
The referee hit into his knee. Into his left knee. I think that's why he pushed him.
Grella, as a player, how frustrating is that? The final whistle, the manager just wants to get you off the pitch as soon as possible in moments like that.
Well, we talk really good about Napoli, and they deserve it. and they deserve everything good that's coming to them. But on the flip side, way too many poor performances from Roma at home. They defended, they stuck to their tactics. Okay, fine. But you need to play some football. You need to have some opportunities for it. Pellegrini, poor. Abraham, poor. All the players. Spinazzola, Karsdorp, Ibanez.
What about Smalling and
Smalling,
the mistake he made?
Smalling. I mean, you could, aside from Camara, Cristante, and Zaniolo, were okay. The rest just poor performances. And then at the end of the game, you lose a big game at home, get off the pitch.
Especially when you don't play.
Clap the fans. Say thank you for your support. Get off the pitch. There's no need for the fighting with the referee and getting sent off, and that's just all unnecessary stuff.
There's no argument.
It affects them then going forward, I suppose, doesn't it, Aaron? Because now Jose's got decisions to make based on things that didn't happen in the match.
Yeah, you can just see the frustration boiling over. I don't think they really felt like they gave their best today, even though they made it ugly the way they wanted to. They didn't play any football, and when you're not playing football and not getting the result, it kind of weighs on you. You could see Karsdorp, he was upset at the end of the match. I think as a whole, Roma are going to be upset. A lot for Mourinho to do in training, I think, especially without Paulo Dybala. They lacked such a creative. You could see the lack of creativity in that side, and they have a lot to do.
Yes, so much frustration for Roma. But let's take a look at Victor Osimhen's goal, because it was just another goal that oozed confidence from him. Should the goalkeeper have done better here, though, Grella?
Yeah, listen, it's a difficult angle, you know, for the striker to score. That's bread and butter for the goalkeeper, that angle. But saying that, I don't want to take away anything from Osimhen. This is an unbelievable solo goal. Like the way he uses his body to create the space, and then the volley. I mean, he hits it as good as you can. Yeah. But Patricio knows he's shooting. It's a difficult angle. I think maybe he shouldn't save it, but he can do better.
And didn't you send this guy into Tribuna? Isn't that the guy that you sent all the way into the stands?
That's a silly game.
Perhaps he knew as well that Smalling was on a yellow card and really couldn't do much once he got past him in the box, Marco.
Yeah, I think it was that, but I think it's just the wittiness of Osimhen to do his best, to always challenge. And I think that's one thing we brought up in the pre-match, was that he believes constantly. He always goes for it. There's some strikers that they see a ball like, all right, there's no way I'm going to get to it. That's not Osimhen. He fights until the last minute, and that's why he gets the hope of Spalletti and of all the Napoli fans.
Yeah, a slim win, but they get the job done, and their perfect record continues in Serie A and in the Champions League as well. So a big confidence boost for Spalletti's side. Once again, you can see what it means to Osimhen. We've got all the highlights coming for you next. Well, after today, there's just one team left standing in Serie A who's unbeaten. Napoli beat Roma by 1-0 away from home. They regain their 3-point cushion at the top of the table, winners of their last 11 straight, and a massive confidence boost ahead of a big week for them in the Champions League. Welcome back, everyone, as we wrap up the day. Matteo Bonetti joins us now from the commentary booth. I mean, it was another statement win, wasn't it, for Napoli, one that showed a lot of character.
Yeah, it's defensive. It's the way that they drive forward. Even when Kvara's having a quieter game, there's so many different pieces that can hurt you. And what was the difference was a truly world-class moment from Victor Osimhen against one of the best center backs in the league in Chris Smalling. I mean, that goal, you see it from a replay from behind. It's one of the best goals of the season. The finish was sublime, but it's that they didn't really concede much. Their goalkeeper, Meret, was never really under trouble, and they kept pressing even after the goal and kept Roma mostly as a counter-attacking side.
It was a slim win, wasn't it, that they got the job done. Could anyone see this one coming? How did you
Poppy. Enjoy.
Let's revisit, shall we, and have a look at who did well. Did you do well, Matteo?
No, I didn't, surprisingly enough.
Did you,
Surprisingly. You told me guaranteed.
It looks like I'm still in first there. I'm not sure. I can't see.
Yeah, but
did you win today?
No, I lost today.
But we have to tell the
Marco?
people the truth. The truth is that, Poppy, this is not your bet. You had help from Ivis. So Ivis should be getting the points, and we make a little tally.
By the way, Ivis, who let her get under 2.5 and said my bet was not good enough, made me pick 2 ties at plus 1,000 odds. So I've been sabotaged this
Look at that. Did I say... I let Matteo phone a friend to Jimmy Conrad.
That's true.
I let you guys gloat in September, October. In May, we do the final count.
This guy's like a parrot. He just keeps repeating the same thing every week.
It's the same thing. Bets with the Nets. Put your house on it.
They don't give an autumn trophy. Remember that.
Let's take a look at the highlights, shall we? It all started 9 minutes in, Grella. Chance here for Roma.
Camara, who was one of the bright spots on the day, winning things, and this is Abraham. This sums up Abraham, sums up a little bit Roma in the final third in the attack. A little bit more composure you would hope for, a little bit more, distinction of what you're looking for and what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this quick give and go here. Zielinski to find Ndombele. And it looked like a penalty. It was whistled a penalty at first until you got the perfect replay when they slowed it down, which shows that Rui Patricio got the slightest fingertip touch onto the ball before going through the leg of Ndombele. So correct VAR. It was quick. It was efficient. This is where VAR gets it right.
Here was Napoli in transition. Of course, Quadra to Oliveira, who lays it off to Chucky Lozano. Big shot. Thought that one could have went in. Hard one, but does well to at least get a shot off in this opportunity for Napoli.
Yeah, and again, Napoli with this long ball, and this is it. This is how they were undone. This simple long ball. Smalling gets on the wrong side of Osimhen. When you play against these top strikers and you get just one step in the wrong direction and you find yourself in trouble, they make you pay. Osimhen makes them pay here.
Look at that finish.
That angle is crazy.
I don't think you can't even blame the goalkeeper, even if it's such a narrow angle. It's impossible to strike the ball any better than that.
Don't tell Mike Grella.
Grella gave it a good go. Here's a look at the table then. Milan and Napoli were equal on points coming into today. But Napoli, they regained their lead at the top of the table. Roma, they had a chance to move within 1 point of the top spot if they could have picked up 3 points today. A big opportunity missed for Jose Mourinho's side, but the task was tall. And here's a look at the bottom half of the table. Fiorentina in 14th, who we saw play yesterday, but Verona, Cremonese and Sampdoria all in the relegation zone. They are struggling.
That pains me.
Guess who else is struggling? Juventus in the Champions League. Match day 5 coming up this week. They absolutely need a result, don't they, against Benfica if they want any hope of advancing. But other results have got to go their way. As for the other teams in Italy, we've got Milan against Dinamo, Napoli against Rangers, and Inter against Victoria Pilsen. Which one stands out to you, Matteo?
I think the Milan game is the most interesting because they have to win. I mean, they're all interesting, right? But Napoli really is in the driver's seat. Juventus feels like they're out of it after that terrible, embarrassing performance in Israel. Inter's in an interesting situation because all they have to do, they've got to be Victoria Pilsen after the 2 results at Barcelona. So they've got a bit of an easy ride, you'd think, at the Giuseppe Meazza. But the Milan-Dinamo game in Croatia, that one scares me a little bit from what we've seen with Milan, a bit shaky in the Champions League group stage.
It's a make or break for them, and for Juventus, this is the final straw. You know, they're on very thin ice in the Champions League.
Do they even deserve to advance at this point?
If they would win,
if they go through, then they deserve to go through.
I mean,
they also need Maccabi to be able to get a result.
Performance has been
the only thing is, too, they're saying now Chiesa probably will not be able to make it. That was the only hope, was that maybe he could play against Benfica. So that one's not going to be there. They need a miracle. For Milan, it's massive. Yeah. We need 3 of our Italian teams at least to go through into the next stage. I believe in Milan, and I think that they could turn things around and make sure that they get in.
Let's not forget, though, Dinamo beat Chelsea, didn't they, back on match day 1. How much of, a threat do you think they're going to present to Milan? Because look how tight this group is. It really is anybody's game, Grella.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be a difficult one. Nothing is easy, and I know he says that the Croatian teams are not that good, but it's very difficult.
Did he say that?
Hold on a second. You're putting words in my mouth.
Put the Grella vision back.
No. Should the Italian champions not be beating any team
especially
from Austria,
after they made
Croatia,
7 changes in the league?
No one's saying it's easy.
They have to win the game.
If you're the Italian champion, you have to be winning.
They have to win the game. And to go back to Juventus quickly is, Juventus are win. I'm going to do the show for
Go on, then. Take us wherever you want, Grella.
It's going to be a mess.
Juventus are in a win-win, because even if they get knocked out, they can focus more on the league. They know they're not having the season to go very far.
There's no win-win about them going out in the Champions League. That is massive revenue that goes down the drain. Going out in the group stage, in that group, it's a disaster.
At this point, I think it's...
They, on paper, had the easiest group in the Champions League, no? Juventus?
I think that's what we were saying beforehand, yeah.
With Benfica and PSG.
Yeah,
I thought Milan's would have been easier as well, though.
The group. They should be beating Benfica, even though Juventus have lost against who? Lyon, Monaco, Porto, someone else, Ajax, in the knockouts. All teams they were favored against in the last 5 years.
But at least they got out of the group stage then. This is a new low. To go out of the group stage, that's important revenue. They're focused so much on the numbers, on the salaries of Allegri and all these guys. But then you go on to the group stage of the Champions League, not acceptable.
We're going to change. We're going to talk about Milan now.
Oh, are we, Grella? I was about to ask you about
Wait, what about Rangers and Napoli?
Didn't you want to hop back on the Napoli train? Are you back on it?
Are there any spaces left? Will you guys be back on the Napoli train? Because
I'm not sure if you're
I'm not kidding. After seeing that, how do you play against them?
I have no idea where he stands on Napoli.
How do you play against them? No, seriously. You kick them, you close the space, you play in defense. You try to outpossess them. You try to press them. And they have an answer for everything. They have an answer for every team, for every single look you give them.
So they beat Roma by 1 goal, and you've completely changed your perspective.
Yeah, we need
That's
to pump
what
the
it
brakes.
took.
Listen, I want a ticket on the train. Do you guys have one for
Not
me?
sure. Do we let him back?
Not after
Not letting
your
you allowed. Not just like
statistics
this.
before the game, trying to take something away from Napoli, comparing it to last season. The
Pump
crazy.
the brakes, everybody.
Hold on. So they're going to win the
in a row.
Scudetto? They're going to win the Scudetto?
I would not be surprised whatsoever.
Yes or no? They're going to win the Scudetto?
Yes.
Okay.
Yo, what about Inter, guys? Inter
Are they, Grella?
have this chance.
Are they going to win the Scudetto?
Yes.
What? Pump the brakes before. What's written in these notes?
Because now today I saw it all.
Wishy-washy.
Today I saw everything.
What, against
I needed to
Roma, you saw it all.
Today I saw everything I needed to see.
went against Roma.
Against a very good defensive Roma side in Stadio Olimpico.
Can
And
we
they
say
still got
about
the result.
Inter at least a little bit? They're going to finish,
Ask
hopefully
Mike Grella
finish.
if you're allowed to talk about them.
If I'm allowed to, I would like to say that Inter are very likely, let's hope, we don't want to jinx them, but very likely to finish second place above Barcelona in a very tough group where most people had them counted out. I'm very proud of this Inter side. Get the job done this week. Finish in second place.
Yeah, they've put themselves in prime position, haven't they, Matteo?
Absolutely, and they've done it. They've almost rebuilt themselves in the Champions League, because this was after struggling in Serie A when Simone Inzaghi was on the hot seat.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? I think we've got to say goodbye now, Grella, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, let's take off. Let's go.
Are we okay? Do you want to do the rollout? Do you want to say
Go for it.
goodbye?
Go for it. Camera's on you. Go. Take us
You've
to
got
break.
20 seconds
Tune
to
in
say.
No, look
Tuesday.
there.
I'm not sure. Tune in Tuesday for sure
Brooklyn
for
Bridge
Champions League.
Park. At Brooklyn Bridge
Brooklyn
Park.
Bridge
You'll be
Park.
there with Marco.
We'll be there with Marco. Matteo won't be there. Matteo will be with the Bears. And tune
10 seconds,
tune into
Grella.
the Italians doing very good in the Champions League.
That's it.
Puppy,
Buonanotte
you
a
might be
tutti,
taking your job.
everybody. Grella will be back next week to host more Calcio. We'll see